everyone. Today I'm going to tell you chapter 14. Let's start now. That evening, Jim and I tied up the raft and I went into town with the king and the duke. We had landed at a place in Arkansas called Bricksville. Nearly everyone was in an outdoor religious meeting. The king saw the meeting and immediately thought of a way to make money from it. At first, we just stood at the back of the crowd while the people sang hymns. Then, the man at the front said if anyone who had sinned should come forward and promise a better life. The king immediately jumped up to the front. He said that he had been a pirate on the Indian Ocean for 30 years. Now he understands that this is a bad way to live. All I want to do now is to go back to the ocean and tell all the pirates to stop their evil ways and have a good life. Then he started to cry. Many people believed him and they started to cry too. Let's collect some money for him to help him do his good work, shouted a man in the crowd. A hat was passed around and people put money in it. The hat was soon given to the king. The king hugged the man who had shouted out and said thank you. Then we got back to the raft. When we got back to the raft, we found out that the king had collected more than $50. Meanwhile, the duke had also thought of a way for us to travel in the daylight. He had printed a poster that said reward $200 in big letters. It described a black slave that escaped from a plantation near New Orleans. If anyone came too close to our raft, we could tie Jim up as if he was a prisoner and show them the poster, so they wouldn't thought that we were going to New Orleans to get the reward. So then we continued on our journey. Soon we land again. The king had finished teaching the duke the Shakespeare play. There was a circus at that new town, and the king and the duke rented a stage so they could put on their Shakespearean play. And the duke also printed a poster that said adults 25 cents and a child 10 cents. So after that, I sneaked under the circus tent to watch. I sneaked under the tent to watch the circus. I saw women that looked like queens and handsome young men. They stood on the back of horses while they galloped. It was the most thrilling performance I have ever seen. Later, the king and the duke put on their Shakespearean play, but only 12 people came. They they laughed throughout the whole play, which wasn't supposed to be funny. Later, the Duke said that the people of Arkansas were too stupid to appreciate Shakespeare. The next night, we'll give them the show that they deserve. The royal nonsense, he said. That day, the Duke printed another poster that said, "The royal nonsense." Those 50 cents. At the bottom it said, "No women and children admitted." That night, the next night, I saw the tent packed with men. The tent was packed with men who had come to see the show. The Duke walked onto the stage and said, "You're about to see the most thrilling performance in history." Then the king crawled onto the stage on all fours. He wore no clothes, and his skin was painted with a lot of colors. The people laughed and laughed. The king hopped around on stage. Then he hopped off the stage. The Duke came on stage and said that if they had enjoyed the show, they should come the next night. "Is the show over already?" A man in the audience shouted. You charge us 50 cents for this?" A tall man in the audience stood up. "Yes, gentlemen, we have been tricked. But we don't want the whole town to laugh at us. Let's tell the other men about this show, so they would come too. Then we'll all be fools, and no one will be laughing at anyone." Everyone must have followed his advice, because next night the tent was again packed with men. Once again, the king hopped around on the stage and then hopped off stage. But on the third night, the men who had come were the people who had already seen the show. I saw that they brought rotten eggs and cabbages to throw at the stage. I told the king and duke, and we ran off toward the raft. There was Jim waiting. We get aboard the raft and floated about 10 kilometers down the river. We didn't dare light our lantern. After we went about 10 kilometers, Jim started to push the raft. Then we stayed inside the hut and I had something to eat. The king and the duke counted their money. I found out that they had collected $465. I had never seen so much money in my life. That's all for today. If you want to know what Huckleberry Finn did, wait till tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. See you next day.